Hello, I'm Janine McGuire.
And I'm Arri Lawton Simon.
And together we're McGuire
and Simon.
And welcome to Third Thursday, September edition. We're so happy to have you joining us this September evening.
Absolutely. We are both finally back in New York City after a hot second away. We thought we'd take like a little jaunt away for the pandemic, maybe a couple weeks, a month, and then Janine was gone for 3 and I was gone for 6. And sometimes that's just how life goes. But we are so glad to be back with our best lady, fighting for her and with her and bringing you this beautiful show this evening.
Yep, exactly. And I'm feeling all the fall nostalgia and just all the good feelings about being back in the city right now. So yeah.
Apologies for any background noise. I just can't resist the breeze coming in through my open window, my open balcony right now.
Ventilation is important right now. That's good.
Absolutely.
Okay, so just one quick announcement we wanted to share. You may see in the corner of our screen, we have a logo, and we can make that big for you. I will pull that up right now because we are excited to share this with
so excited.
Ta-da! This logo is designed for us by our good friend Risa Young, and it actually has all these little music, little kind of Easter eggs in there. It's designed to look a bit like a musical staff, and it includes our initials and the whole thing. So we feel very grateful to Risa for making that for us.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's one little announcement we wanted to just show you.
We're always just creating new content, new opportunities, and ready to commune with our audience. And recently, in our one of our last Third Thursday challenges, we put out our Third Thursday. I would say Thursday challenges. In our Third Thursday broadcast, we put out a challenge for Side by Side, our song, which we put out a cover challenge for. So for anybody to submit a recording, either audio or video, either doing a direct cover or their interpolation of our song Side by Side. And there are just a few days left. This Monday is the deadline, and we've gotten a couple of really fantastic submissions. We're really excited to see what else people are going to throw our way. And so you have just a few days left for that. So if you're interested in learning more about that, anybody who's looking for a creative project or something to do, you can visit our website, McGuireandSimon.com/side-by-side, and we'll give you the parameters to enter that contest. And we'd love to see what you have to share with us.
That's right. So anyway, we'll get into the topic of this episode for our monthly Third Thursdays. It's all about collaboration and the origin stories of how writing teams got together. And, we love our origin story. And by the way, I'm saying it right now, like the correct pronunciation of the word origin. I'm catching myself. I normally say origin. That's like my Jersey accent coming out, but
I've finally infiltrated you. I have reprogrammed you.
I think you did reprogram me because I did that naturally just now. Normally I would say origin, like orange or Florida or those kinds of words from Jersey. But origin stories are something that we love to revisit. I think it's really interesting to hear how collaborative teams, meet each other and how they, what their first kind of impressions are of each other and what they embark on when they first get together. And we love to tell our story. In brief, it was that we met at the BMI workshop around this time of year in 2012. Actually, Arri wanted to say the specific date that we met.
September 24th.
Yeah, September 24th.
2012. So we're a week away from our 8-year date of meeting, 8-year anniversary. And I don't know, we wonder what the formula is. And I just another little tidbit. I am so grateful as part of this team to have been invited recently to the steering committee for the BMI workshop where we met. And so I may learn the formula. I don't know.
I'm frightened to know. If it was just purely random or if they decide.
We have no idea still why we were put together, but we're so grateful.
So we were put together on the very first assignment where, this entire BMI workshop is, it is a training ground and a feedback forum. And the first year they pair you up with all different writers, composers, and lyricists and throw different assignments at you. So we were paired up on the first one and we loved it. And we of course had a lot of other really good collaborations with our workshop, our classmates. And, it was a wonderful year. We decided to work together going forward after that. But, this time of year always makes me think back on that. And it was a really fun time. And I'll also say, one question I'm sometimes asked is, did you guys know right away that this was it, that you wanted to keep working together? And for me, the honest answer is not really. I knew that we connected and I knew that I was really proud of the song that we did, but I was so nervous about the whole thing. I just wanted to write a good song with somebody. I just wanted to collaborate well. And I thought what we came up with, felt easy and natural and fun. But, it didn't really hit me until, working with a few other people, and thinking about who I would want to work with in the long haul and who would have a similar vision for the future, that Arri was the one. And then, it turned out that second year around in BMI, we wrote this other song, which we'll have to do on another broadcast. That was sort of the one that solidified it. And we were like, yes, let's be a team. Let's do this.
100% ditto. Don't have to re-comment as people love to do in workshops. Let me just say what somebody else just said because I have to say it. No need. Love Janine and here for it. But yeah, that's very much how we are. And we are so glad to have all of these wonderful 6 amazing writers who we met through so many different forums, but whose work inspires us greatly and who we think are absolute powerhouses. And just can't wait to get into it.
And also we did poll our audience a little bit beforehand of what kinds of questions they'd be interested in hearing about. So we can, mix these in, we'll answer them. We'll also have our guests sort of, chat about them too. But of course we always get the who writes what, of musical theater collaborations. People are always interested in that. People are interested in, how do you work? What is your process? And our friend Alan actually wrote this detailed question, which we can also touch on as we go. Arri, do you want to read this one?
Absolutely. So Alan asked, are you usually both satisfied with the finished product, or do the completed songs feel more like compromises between your respective visions? Does co-writing help you feel like your final versions are more often or likely perfect? Or does having 2 cooks in the kitchen lead to that feeling of, yeah, it's great, but it could have also had X, Y, and Z?
Yeah, those are some food for thought. I kind of almost want to jump in and say what I think about that, but let's hear from our we'll get in there with some of our thoughts about collaboration, because it is, like I said, our favorite thing to talk about. So, the first team that we're going to bring up is Amanda Darkangelis and Sami.
Horneff.
Hey,
hello.
Hey, Cousins.
It's great to see you both.
It is an absolute delight. And Janine, might I say, orange and Florida and origin are perfectly normal ways to say those words.
That's what I think.
Don't feel bad.
If I can interject just really quickly, tell me what's normal about the foreman wiped his forehead with his forearm in the forest.
I've never said forehead. I always said forehead. That one's weird. I don't know about that one.
I have that one. I do say forehead, forearm. Doesn't make any sense. Blame New Jersey. Blame
all right, Long Island. So just as bad.
Yeah. So. I say online instead of inline, and
same.
Out about it.
That kills me.
Same. Sami. Thank goodness. I knew.
I love you, Amanda. I love you.
Well, in that we kind of heard a little bit about where you each are from, just from regional dialects. But so how did you actually first meet each other?
Yeah, so our story is pretty similar to yours. We also met at the BMI Lehman Angle Musical Theater Workshop, the most amazing place, and we're both so grateful to have been a part of it. We were in the 2016 class, and we weren't paired on the first assignment. We were actually paired together on the very last assignment of our first year.
The 10-minute
So you guys did the 10-minute together?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a commitment. That's a lot to write together.
And it was so funny because I remember the first day, they do that exercise. The first day of class, you have to all write a song together, as a class.
Mm-hmm.
And, and they give you and we couldn't figure out what the hook would be, and I always forget what it is. I can't properly like quote it, but Sammy's like, "Oh, well, the hook is this." And I was like,
I remember we were talking about zookeepers in love.
yeah, it was about a zoo.
Yeah,
and like animals.
Out words, and I think the hook was "Wild for You" or something.
Yes, and I was like, oh, "Who is this girl with the fierce leather jacket who's too cool to talk to me?" And that's definitely not what the case was, but that's what I thought. So I was like, "Oh wow, she's good. Love her style." And yeah, we kind of we weren't paired together until the last assignment. So we had chatted throughout the year. I was like, "Man, she's talented. She's super cool. Oh man." Maybe one day, fingers crossed. And then we got the list for the final assignment. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, we were both so excited. I remember texting with Amanda being like, thank God, we wanted to work together so badly. Because, you wait the whole year and you get all these amazing pairings. And you always kind of have your list of people that you're like, oh, I hope it's this person next. And I actually don't think there could have been a better assignment for the two of us to work on together because it allowed us to really get our feet wet as collaborators and do a full thing that ended up being like the best experience of both of our lives. So we can talk a little bit more about kind of that project, but we ended up writing an original, not based off of anything, called Single Rider. That was our 15-minute musical project. We can talk more about that later too. I don't know what you all have in mind in terms of questions.
It's pretty open, but the song that we're going to hear from you guys is called Roller Coaster Ride. And so how did this work though? Because it says, is this from your show Single Rider, but did you start it in a more micro sense that expanded? Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what happened. So we were paired together for the 10-minute and we're like, okay, we want strong female lead. We knew that much. And we're like, what could we adapt? That was kind of the first thing we thought, because we wanted to keep working together. We already knew, like, after the 10-minute, we wanted to expand upon whatever we wrote. So our first thought was, let's adapt Eloise at the Plaza. We called Simon & Schuster. Option wasn't available. So
I found an email the other day that was like, excuse me, like, we're two young writers with no credits, and we really want to do this musical. Also, my landline's ringing. So that's another weird thing about me is I have a landline.
She does, and I love it. It's probably your mom.
Forgive me. It's probably my mom, to be honest. She's calling me being like, where's the live stream? What's the live stream?
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna Amanda, you keep talking. I'm gonna quickly
go see if it's your mom. Tell her I said hi. Okay.
Collaboration is tag teaming, this
is how it goes. So Simon Schuster said, who are you? See you later. We're like, all right, so new idea. So we kind of bounced around some things, and I remember one day just thinking of the title Single Rider and being like, oh, that could be actually a cute idea if like two people met on a single rider line at an amusement park, and like that kind of unfolded into some sort of story, not thinking it would be a musical or any sort of thing. I was like, oh, that's just kind of cute. This is coming from the fact that I worked at Hershey Park, Pennsylvania as a performer for 2 years. It's one of my favorite gigs I've ever done in my life. And one of the best experiences I've ever had. I made lifelong friends. I experienced crazy things, super regulars of the park, super fans, like, it's nuts. And then, it's right in the middle of Amish country. You're in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. So there was always a lot of Amish kids and Mennonites there. And that was also like a culture shock for us as, 19-year-olds, performing in Hershey Park, Pennsylvania. So, I went to Sami. I was like, okay, two people meet on a roller coaster line. She goes, okay, cool. And this is before we even came up with the Amish thing. The Amish thing didn't even connect until, like, I think the second time we were talking about it, after a bottle of Prosecco or something.
Yeah, that's how, in terms of how we work, that's how we work. Sushi and a bottle of Prosecco.
Our collaboration to, like, Tito's vodka and also sushi for the first year.
Yeah.
Wow. Honestly, I want to write we should all write together as a team and just have a lot of sushi, a big sushi platter. And so then we started talking, and I was just very much in love with the idea and the title. And so that's how it kind of got its start. And we started storyboarding. And for the 10-minute musical project at BMI, you have to write a full musical from start to finish in 10 minutes. So it can't be like a little snippet of a larger thing. It has to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So we were like, okay, how do we storyboard this? How do we map this out to be kind of this full story? Yeah, and then but by the time we'd kind of thought about these two people that meet who are different on the single rider line, what's the twist? What's the thing?
We're like, okay, so
the cliffhanger,
right? Like, why can't they contact each other if they're teenagers in 2017? Why can't they just text each other after they meet? And I was like, okay, well, maybe one of them doesn't have a phone. They were like, well, why doesn't one of them have a phone? And then it just kind of was like, ding, 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 and then we landed on it. And I was like, oh man, what if the boy's Amish? And then Sami doesn't remember the story this way, but then she's like, no, what if the girl's Amish? And I was like, that's it.
The way that I remember the story is that I was like, no, Amanda, we're not making an Amish musical. We're not doing that. And then I slept on it. And then I called her the next morning and was like, no, that's it. Like, that's totally what we're doing.
That did happen. She did turn me down. And I was like, but Sami is like, and then of course, yes, she agreed. And then, yeah, we decided to flesh it out. And the 10-minute story was, yeah, these two teenagers meeting. And at the very end, you know, the horse and buggy pulls up and you see that the girl has been on her Rumspringa and she was in, you know, English clothes. And the guy's like, oh, like, when will I ever see you again? And it's like, well, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And the owner of the theme park that they're in, Lucky Land, is kind of magical, if you will. So it's kind of like, oh, maybe she's kind of the witch that's bringing them together, perhaps. You know, what witchcraft is she stirring up? I don't really know, but...
Oh, that's awesome. Well, what I love about that too is I feel like that's speaking a little bit to that question that we were posed about, like, you know, how you trade off on ideas and how you sort of, it sounded like you did some yes-anding of each other, you know, in that.
All the time.
Even though sometimes maybe that first time you hear a thing, like, it might like not be exactly the way that you would have thought about it. So you have to so you might sometimes have to sleep on it anyway. But that you're like, you learn to trust each other. It sounds like that sort of collaboration where you're building it together.
And it absolutely happened with this project. On another song that we wrote, I remember I wrote the main melody, and then Sami shot me back a lyric that did not fit that melody, and I was like, what? But then I was like, wait, this is beautiful, and then my melody became the counter melody to the song, and then it worked perfectly. It's like, oh, yes, this is just like two pieces coming together making good pizza pie, you know?
Yeah.
And we're so collaborative, too. We love collaboration. I just feel like, you know, to answer a little bit of that kind of the larger question, it's like, I like collaboration so much better because there's someone to call me out and be like, no, you can do better. Like, I like that, but like you've got something better in there. Like, let's figure out something better. And so I think that that's what's so amazing about having a collaborator is that if it was just me, I'd sort of put something on a page that I thought was great, or like maybe not my best work, but there's no one to call me out. So Amanda definitely does a great job of being like, no, like, let's rethink that. And it's awesome to have someone there too, who you really trust to do that with you.
Yeah. I 100% agree with that. I mean, Arri always holds me to a very high standard, and I like to think likewise. But that is one of my favorite parts too. Is I feel like often the sum of it is so much more than either person could just think of on their own, and so
absolutely, yeah. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know.
Oh yeah, it's really a mixture of chaos and I don't know where she is on your guys' screen, but organizational prowess. I don't know where she is.
Here.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Smart one. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, and you're right, bringing different things to the table. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I was saying, we could talk to you forever, but we love absolutely to hear something from your show.
Sure.
So this is the first song, right?
We're gonna hear the first song that you ever wrote.
Yes.
Yeah.
First song we ever wrote.
Yeah, this is the version from the 15-minute musical. It later got expanded. Single Rider ended up being a full-length musical that premiered off-Broadway in 2018. So we were very, very lucky to work with the Players Theater. It had a really great run in Greenwich Village. It was amazing. But this was kind of the first little nugget of what the song would later become.
Yeah, this is called Roller Coaster Ride. It is sung by the owner of the park. Her name is Angela, and like I said, she's got a little touch of magic. So she kind of oversees everything. She's the mama of the place. So it's full of love, full of excitement, full of joy. It's called Roller Coaster Ride. It's the middle of the summer here in OPA. School is out of session and it's not the surf the wave till you embrace the tide. So come and step inside my roller coaster ride. Now our story can unfold. Adrenaline is taking all the time. It's high. Perfect story, boy meets girl. Watch the coaster of the new world and fly. And fly. Life is unpredictable, so take a chance. No time for fear. It's time to dance. You'll never surf the wave till you embrace the tide. So come and step inside. Go watch the stars collide and let me be your guide on this roller coaster ride. It's been ages, I say.
And
I was
that-
like, there's dialogue in here. I was like, beep, 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 beep. Oh, okay. No, I shouldn't say that. So, what is it like?
That was great.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, what a cool song.
It's
Awesome.
fun for us to relive it too. I feel like
It's been a long time.
it's also weird. Like that was the first time we wrote together. Like we also have just seen it through so many iterations too. So
It's
it's
true.
very funny to go back and like think about where we were when we wrote everything.
Truly, like that hasn't been in my body for a while.
Mhm.
But that's cool. That was fun. There's memories.
Yes.
right?
No,
Welcome
and so
back.
thinking of your the newer things that you might be working on. We're told that you have an upcoming workshop of a show called The Radium Girls, a jaw-dropping new musical in collaboration with Lisa Mongillo, or is it Mongillo?
Mongillo, yeah.
Mongillo. Okay, great. Second one was
Who was also in our BMI class, who's just
amazing.
so funny. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Go ahead, Sami.
And so
So we're super lucky to be working with Western Connecticut State University, and they are putting on this amazing virtual festival called the New Works, New Voices Festival, and they chose our show, which also started as a 15-minute, and we've expanded over time. I guess that's our thing. That's like our niche, is like making 15-minute musicals that we expand.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's about the radium watch dial factories in the 1920s and the young women who worked there and unknowingly were poisoned by the radium that they were using to paint these watches, and the court case that ensued. And we've sort of created a dark horror comedy to showcase that amazing historical event that a lot of people don't know very much about. But it's premiering, I think, November 27th.
Yeah, it's streaming. They're doing a big streaming festival, so they're doing some plays as well. So it's 10 days, and each of those 10 days, I think they're going to be kind of doing it in rep. So, yeah, it's super cool. We're getting to develop it and, also create something completely new with, social distance and technology.
Mhm.
And it's been a really, really amazing time working with these students and with this faculty. And, we're lucky to be doing our thing in this really crazy, unprecedented time. So do tune in. Should be a
Absolutely.
fun movie-esque musical experience.
Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure some folks will want to follow you to be able to check that out. Can we we'll put up their social channels where we can find that. There's Amanda's.
That way.
Yes.
At Amanda D's.
Yeah, and there's Sami. We can find Sami.
Sami doesn't have an Instagram, but we have our single writer Instagram, and she will respond to that.
Awesome. Well, it was so lovely getting to chat with you.
It was so
Thank you
much
so much
fun.
for having us on.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yay. So wonderful. We'll catch up more soon, I hope.
Yes.
And then we can bring on our next team. Okay.
Welcome up. So next up, we have Marialena and Susannah. Such
Hi.
names.
Thank you.
Regal.
Totally.
Definitely.
Hello.
So we've been a fan of the both of you for a long time, and we love your show, Bisland and Bly. And so I'm curious though. Although I love your show so much, and I feel like I know you really well, I don't know the circumstances in which you first met each other.
Totally. I can start that story. We met not collaborating in any respect in 2014 in Portland, Oregon. I was acting in The Tempest, and Marialena was stage managing Love's Labor's Lost. So we were sort of across town from each other, participating in Shakespeare plays, and had mutual friends. And I quickly became a fan of Marialena's beautiful music making because she was playing in a band, the Skidmore Bluffs.
Yeah.
Where are you? And then 2 years later, we were sort of co-founding members of a theater company with two of our friends. And again, I was acting in a show that Marialena was writing the music for and also performing in. It was kind of a mystical two-hander, I want to say. Is that a good way of
Yeah.
called The Honey of His Music Vows. And then about a month later, I came across this story about Nellie Bly and Elizabeth Bisland and thought that it would be a really great musical and knew exactly who would be the perfect person to collaborate with. So did I miss anything?
Yeah, no, that's it.
That's great. And then so the split of what you each do when you work together, do you follow strict lines or do you blur those lines?
I would say they're pretty.
Harry and I do all the things all the time. Like that's uncommon. So.
Yeah, no, I would say they're pretty blurred too. Like I think what was so awesome about these when we first started working on Bisland and Bly was really just both of us coming in with ideas for scenes and songs and lyrics and everything. So yeah, I think it's in a lovely way blurred. The lines are blurred.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that you lead the way with the music. I would definitely say. I feel like our breakdown right now is kind of like we both write the lyrics, and Marialena is leading the way with music, and I am kind of leading the way with book writing. But yeah it definitely is a collaborative effort, and the lines have in some ways gotten more defined over time, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. But I think it's fun, like for the Christmas song we wrote last year for Your Salon. Yeah. Susannah wrote the lyrics for that one, I think, mostly, and then I just set it to music. So it was like it's nice that it also can change every time too. Yeah.
That's wonderful. I know for Janine and myself, like in the before times, we like to spend as much time in the same room as we could, for collaboration, working on things. And I mean, whether or not that was the way that you worked before, have you found ways to continue to be productive throughout this time, like as the world is on pause?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I mean, productive is a loaded thing because it can mean a lot of things. Like I think we're obsessed with productivity because capitalism. But anyway,
or just staying connected with each other. Or you?
How has your collaboration like helped you through this time, or any of that?
Yeah.
Well,
I would say. Oh, go ahead.
No, you.
Oh. I would say over the last probably during this COVID time, it's more been a friendship between. I mean, we definitely are still collaborating on Bisland and Bly, but I think we're trying to figure out what's next for the show after having done a workshop in January of this year, which is crazy that was this year. But yeah, just trying to figure out like what's next for that. But then definitely like checking in often as friends because we are dear friends. So
yeah. And speaking of just how collaboration works and friendship works, I think we were friendly and got along before we started collaborating, and then our extremely close and dear friendship grew out of our collaboration. Yeah. That's been one of the greatest gifts of working together.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really didn't. I obviously knew you, and we were like
friendly, but I didn't know you when we started.
Yeah, I didn't know you.
No, you didn't know you. Yeah.
No, I love that. And your chemistry is just so evident. I love it. I always say life is too short to work with people that you don't like. You know, it's just too much time together. I mean, Arri, I see more than anyone besides my spouse, you know.
Yes.
And during production week, more than, you know.
Yes.
And, you know, and it's I just think you really it's wonderful when you have a good relationship.
Yeah,
totally.
Yes, that's great. You know, we were also talking about, you know, similarly, I mean, we got in right under the wire with a 29-hour reading of our show Borders in February before everything shut down, and you guys in January. And it's like, yeah, it has been really interesting. Maria and I actually had a chat one day about just like, like how, you know, how you use this time when you have this full draft out in the world, but you know, it's a good time to step back and like look at it and make changes. But it's also weird because you can't get together with actors and try things, you know, and it's a different moment. But
quarantine kind of happened right at the moment where we wanted to be more in the room with people.
Right.
We wanted to be remote from people.
I feel like we agreed that we were like, oh man, it's helpful to, obviously it's so helpful to do the show, workshop the show with other people, you know, like we've
an audience and
I don't think any show has ever passed the point of two writers sitting in a room figuring stuff out, but also it's just really helpful to like get it up and see it and like hear it. So I
feel like audience participation in these times is so strange because you can't get a sense for how people are actually responding except for in the comments where it's like, how many exclamation points are there? How much people would be engaged in the room. It's an interesting time. I really think it's amazing that you two have found a way to continue presenting work and finding innovative ways of doing that. I just think it's amazing.
Well,
thanks. It's a work in progress.
It's so. I mean, the sharing of our creativity is what brought us to each other, and it's like one of the most important relationships in our life. And so it's like, you know, how do you keep that going? You know, despite everything else that's going on, and it is a fight to the death, you know, for our freedom of expression. And so it's like that we don't have another choice. And it's like, and we'd not rather do it with anybody else, you know. It's like we love other wonderful creatives, and we're so glad that you've taken your time to share with us tonight about your collaboration and to share some of your work. On which note,
we can get to it. I'm gonna queue up a video that that was put together, I hear, just this week, which I'm really excited to. Just if you want to set up what's going on in the story while I do that, that would be wonderful.
Great. Marialena, I saw you go on mute. I was like, okay, great. I guess I think it's important to note that my character is drunk and a little uptight. So we're getting gradually drunker throughout the song, and that explains the dancing. But it is, so this song is called To Ogden or Hell on Time. And it occurs about halfway through the first act. Elizabeth Bisland has just been told that she's going to race Nellie Bly around the world through no desire of her own. And just as she's deciding maybe it's okay and it will be a nice way to explore the globe, she basically gets on a runaway train, the conductor of which is a mad Irishman. In this video, also a percussionist.
Right. Yes. The performers in this video, Susannah and I are performing. Susannah is singing. I'm playing the uke, as well as Titus Tompkins, who is a brilliant actor and musician, and Cesar Moreno, who's a great mandolinist.
So lucky to have that.
Great. Well, let's hear it.
Thanks.
I made a promise to the mailman, and I'll repeat it to you now. We'll make it to Ogden or hell. On time.
All right, Elizabeth, just focus on your breath. This man may be eccentric, a marauding railroad maverick, But close your eyes, don't be a worrier. This will pass in one brief blur. This will pass in one brief blur. All right, Elizabeth, just focus on your breath. This man may be eccentric, a marauding railroad maverick. But close your eyes, don't be a worrier. This will pass in one brief blur. This will pass in one brief blur.
Well, we're screaming down this old misty mountain, but we're kicking up our dusty shoes. And to whiskey's fine, I've had 9, but who's counting? Come on, boys, we've got no time to lose. Can you see it now? Oh, the sunset on the canyon, and the desert plain so far and wide. Who'd have ever thought you'd give in to wild abandon? Let your hair down, honey, and join in to ride. And that's right, Miss Southern Belle, these rocky mountains we're gonna climb.
Will be a blur, that's certain sure.
While we get to Ogden or Hell on time. That's right, Miss Southern Belle, we're faster now, can't you tell? Through bends and curves and swervy swerves, we'll get to Ogden or Hell on time. Get to Ogden or Hell on time. What's the use of running if you're not running fast?
And where's the fun in doing what you're told?
More revealed, can't you see you're letting go at last?
Don't need a man or a steady hand to hold. Oh, Miss Nellie Fly, don't you hear that whistle blowing? That's the sound of me hot on your heels. Yes, I'm gaining ground, and I show no signs of flowing. Now step aside and mind your ride, I turn the table wheel.
Woo!
That's right, Miss Southern Belle, these rocky mountains we're gonna climb.
There'll be a blur, that's certain sure, while we get to Ogden or Hell on time.
That's right, Miss Nellie Fly, oh, even just yeah, what we fly. Bends and curves and swervy swerves, we'll get to Ogden or Hell on time. I hope you got to Hell on time.
Get to Ogden or Hell on time.
Yay!
Yay.
Fun one.
That was so cool. Man, you put that together so
Thanks.
Train
It was such a
whistle.
good show. I'll just the train whistle is amazing.
Yeah.
Too. I've seen multiple readings and iterations of it. It was always good. It's really going places. It's a show everyone should have their eye on. And yeah, we're putting up your social info right now so that everyone can follow you and check out the next iteration whenever we can see theater again, which hopefully will be soon. We'll be able to see that show on its feet.
You're seeing theater right now.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
We're doing theater right now. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for having us.
We're so glad you could be here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great. So we can say goodbye to them for now and say hello.
Our next guests.
Our next guests are Kit
Yeah, Melissa Lee.
Melissa Lee.
Hello.
Hi, friends.
It's wonderful to see you both.
So good to see you too.
And it's been a while too.
I know.
It has.
How
Too
are you
long.
doing at this time? Like, we know that you guys had a show that I think was postponed or COVID kind of messed with. How are things been since then?
It's great. So yeah, we actually opened. So we opened in March, and then we had 8 performances before we had to shut down. So it was, we're sad that we didn't get the full run, but we're also really grateful that we got to at least open. I know so many shows that didn't, and so we had great opening weekend. We had great reviews. So all in all, I think we feel pretty grateful.
Oh, that is wonderful.
Fantastic.
I'm really glad you got to open.
And not surprising that the reviews are favorable because you guys write such amazing work.
Oh, thanks.
Oh,
Arri.
thanks. Great compliment coming from you all who are also great songwriters.
I know, seriously.
And we got to first, hear your work at Goodspeed as part of the Johnny Mercer Writers Colony.
Oh, that was so fun.
Fun experience.
Fun.
Yeah. And, and so that was our first, introduction to your work. And, I just thought it was, so wonderful. I love like road trip stories. They're some of my favorite, I'm just, everything that you were doing was just so exciting. And then, I was looking more into it, recently, and I didn't realize that, the way that your show Interstate came about was partially like connected to your collaboration and how you guys formed, came together as a team. So I was wondering if you could talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Okay, so I'm from Hawaii, and then I went to college in Boston, where Melissa is from. So I met her there. We were just like, well, I just kept seeing you around town, right? We just kept running into each other at events.
Yeah, I mean, we were both performers. So Kid's a spoken word artist, and I was just like a singer-songwriter really at that time. And so it's really hard. I feel like as two queer Asian performers, it's kind of hard to miss each other, especially in a city that's kind of small like Boston.
Totally. And I believe the...
Huh?
I said Boston. I've only been there a handful of times, and it really is a small town, Boston.
Small.
Yeah.
It's very like small. I'm sure you guys found each other. Anyways, continue. I'm just gabbing. Continue.
Yeah, no, it totally is, because like the artist community is a little bit smaller, but it's like definitely really tight. And I think the first time I ran into you was like an Asian Sisters in Action event.
Back when you were an Asian sister.
That's right. I was in action and a sister. And I think I was like performing poetry, and you were doing like songs on guitar.
Yeah.
And you thought I was famous.
Oh, I did think you were famous, but I think maybe it's just the obnoxious way you carried yourself. I was tricked.
Amazing.
Honesty is so important in collaboration.
Yes.
And then we just kept like being at the same stuff, and eventually in 2007 we started performing every month at the same queer Asian cabaret at Jacques in the theater district, this like super underground drag bar.
Yeah, and like we didn't really know each other that well, but we were like performing every month, and I think one night you backstage
in the dressing room.
Yeah, you were just like, "Oh, Melissa, what do you think about like just quitting your job and let's go on tour?" And so I was like, "Well, I don't really know you that well, but sure, let's do it." And that was in like late 2007 and early 2008 when that happened. And then we went on tour. It was originally supposed to be a double bill, so it was like we were both like solo artists just going on the road, and we're like, it's Kit Yan mostly. And then eventually I think people just kept we named our tour the Good Asian Drivers Tour, and then people just started calling us the Good Asian Drivers as a band. So then then I felt like, I don't know about you, Kit, you were probably really excited, but I felt a little pressured to like write something together. I was like, I guess now we're a band, so here we are.
That's so true. Yeah. Well, our first songs were just like I have a poem and can you write me some music?
Yeah, it was like, can you do some like backing music for my poems? And then so there was that, and then there was just my solo songs. So that's why. So the thing that we're sharing today, Janine, is actually the first thing that we ever wrote together, where it wasn't a pre-existing poem and it wasn't a pre-existing song. It was actually like an original thing.
It came to being from collaboration between the two of you.
Yeah, and this was
we
like
want to make this thing together.
Right, exactly. And this was like 2 years before we even wrote musicals together. 4 years before we even started writing musicals together.
All right.
Well, we can jump into it now. We can also talk more after, but yeah, we might as well hop on in. So I will get it going here.
In the back of a drag bar, she tunes her guitar while I rewrite lines of poetry. We hit the stage in 5 minutes, but something is tugging away at the hem of my jeans. See, I'd forgotten how to dream in the days spent chained to fax machines and computer screens I wasn't meant to sit with. So we go. Just two kids hitting the open road, looking for adventure in the corners of a head, shaking the excitement of changing landscape. Like in a suitcase full of ramen, spilling into a bitten through banged up compact car. Fuck it. 23 is too young to be scarred by cigarette burns and baseball bat bruises, so we go to find the one times and sunrises to the meaning of meaningful. Too naive to see it all at the same time and blind to a world outside the end rhyme. So we sling duffel bags while lugging backpacks and coffee taken with laptop. It's non-stop from show to city to show. And hey, well, I don't know your name yet, but you got a pretty smile, and I've got all day. And there's a coffee shop where we can watch the Pride Parade from, but somehow I can't help but feel that I've missed what should have been golden. I'm lugging a suitcase full of lyrics because I've stopped writing with my hands and I've started listening to the writers who will never make it to print. We'll find inspiration in the beats of a country song and rock out to the tunes of a heartbeat with a new sound, giving up what we found for what finds us today.
Just like yes, it's all in the sweet song long ago. From Alabama to Montana, all over you I can call out home. Cause it's my Tucson, my Savannah, it's my San Francisco bed. So toss those worries on my backseat and drive away home.
Every city is a one-night stand, and when I find the right soulmate, I'm gonna introduce Kit Yan to Kit Yan. And there's a hole in my front pocket that I keep patching because the passion is so strong that I can't help my reaction when I hear the echoes of a new voice. But I'm gonna let my soul leak through that hole now until the last bit drifts into a new state to breathe. The lesson was right in front of me the whole time, saying that sometimes you have to look twice to see the beauty. Clear out an eardrum and listen a second time to find the harmony. Press rewind to experience that moment that stole your soul for 5 minutes. So how can I forget the voices that have cut open, spilled out and set free their stories to two traveling kids playing for gas money and tip jars of donations. We drank beers and chatted beyond barriers of race, class, comfort, and generation. So thank you for your whirlwind energy that cleared up the night sky. Because of you, the show was great, but it's late, and I miss the 2 a.m. of Boston. I miss the Chinatown dirt and the gay bars to dive in. I miss getting lost in the breakfast chatter of South Street diners. So I can't wait to take 90 into the city. My heart swells in when I breathe. And tonight, thank you for the drink, the food, and the fun show. I know it's not much, but here's a free CD. You've changed me. More than all the sound checks, the interviews, and the car rides. I'll keep your words close on the inside and pile up the hugs until they knock me over and spill onto the screen. And tonight, I still see your head bob and fingers snap and faces filling up the room with memories of you. So,
say thank you. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna say thank you. Let go of me, yes, it's only the sweet song long ago. From Alabama to Montana, all over you I can call home. Cause it's my Tucson, my Savannah, it's my San Francisco Bay. So toss those worries on the backseat and drive away home.
Yay. Awesome. We're just unmuting. Well, that was so cool. Wow. I think that so shows off, I guess, what both of you were talking about, your backgrounds of, of coming from, poetry and spoken word and singer-songwriter material. That was awesome.
It's just like,
thank you. I don't think Kit knew that I had submitted that. You knew I had submitted it, but I don't think you'd watched it. You're muted, Kit. But yeah, you don't think you watched it for like years and years, and I'm pretty sure he was very embarrassed as it was happening. We looked like literal children.
For some reason, it says right now their mic isn't connected.
Am I back on?
Yes, Kit, you're back.
I didn't know that's what we were watching.
That's amazing.
I thought it was going to be a different version of that.
I loved watching this version because this was recorded way back when, right? This was like you recorded it. You wrote it.
Yeah, 2008. That was in 2008.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. No, and it's amazing to have that many years, behind you as you go forward with this.
And it's no wonder to me that it's like Janine and I like often remind ourselves to like rip a page out of the proverbial book of your collaboration, because you two are so ridiculously prolific. It's like you're just constantly just churning out. Like you're like, oh, we wrote like 17 musicals during quarantine, and we're like,
yeah, I feel like every few months it's like we're having a reading of a new show, And
it's like it's amazing, but it's like you have this amazing synergy, and you create so much beautiful work together, and it's all so organic and human and wonderful. And it's just like I'm so glad, selfishly, that you two found each other, because like we get to experience what you bring into the world, and it's just uniquely you and so valuable and so effing good.
Oh, thank you so much for saying that. It is quite beautiful to reflect on like the past couple of years and like our younger selves.
The past couple. That's cute.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for it.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you on here.
Yeah,
and we hope we can hang out another time. So yes, we're putting up the social media and website where people can find both Melissa Lee and Kit Yan.
The Boo.
Yeah, and Interstate Musical, great show. Everyone should check it out.
So good.
We're so honored to be here. We love both of you, and we're like super fans of U.S. people and your work.
Oh, well, thank you. Likewise, and we'll have to hang out another time soon. So thanks for being on here. And oops, Melissa's back.
Welcome back.
Just remove. Okay, we're working with StreamYard here. StreamYard's actually been pretty amazing. I'm very into like what we're able to actually do right now during this time when we can't all be in the same room. Someday, Arri and I, we're gonna be back in that same box soon.
We will.
This is the longest we've ever been apart since we've known each other. I mean, by a lot.
High five.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's a good segue to take us. What are you doing? Oh, high five. Wait, I gotta do it here. Okay.
Wait. Oh, there it is.
Okay. That's great. That was just the slowest high five we've ever
So bad.
We'll have to practice that for next time. But that's a good segue to taking us all the way back to our beginning. Arri would like to perform, or I assume you'd like to perform.
Sure.
The first song that we ever wrote. So we'd also like to help Arri perform, introduce a special guest. What are you bringing on?
This is Danny Young.
Hi everybody.
And Danny and I have known each other for
too long.
Yeah.
But we love each other.
But we do. And we were actually roommates for a month.
We were?
Once. But the song is not about her because she was fantastic.
Thank you. And I felt like I was a very good roommate as well. I would
agree
with that.
She was fantastic. And due to sound regulations of StreamYard, y'all are on mute, so I can't hear if anybody's talking to me. So we're just we're gonna do this first song that we did Janine, do you want to give them any background?
Oh yeah, sure. We wrote this song as that first pairing that we mentioned at the BMI workshop. The prompt was to write a song that was either a sad hello or a happy goodbye. And in choosing one of those, the idea was that you would write something with some subtext, some meat to it. And we chose to do a happy goodbye. And we decided that we wanted to write about a breakup, and specifically a roommate breakup is what we thought that we would take a stab at. So this is a standalone song. It's not from any show. It's just the first thing we ever wrote. And we performed this about 8 years ago, just the two of us in the BMI room. And now Arri, Lawton Simon, and Danny Young will do a performance of it right now.
Oh my God, hey, guess what?
What?
I got a pilot in LA. I'm gonna be moving out.
Good for you. Finally something worked out. Not that I had any doubt it would. This is good for you. Say goodbye to NYC, to eating my pizza and playing my Ouija. What's good for you is good for me.
Oh, you're gonna totally miss me. But you know, we had a really, really good run.
Maybe it's been good for you, who never touched a mop or a broom, and never saw the floor of a room. Who could?
It's wood.
Good for you. Venture west with your debris and leave me with my OCD. See what's good for you is good for me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You leave the sink full of hair. Your underwear is everywhere. You've been late on rent since last July.
Dude, I thought we were cool about that.
You commandeer the DVR. You prance around like you're a star. Now you are, and it's so good to say goodbye. Good for you. Look at what you will achieve. You got your ticket to leave the hood. Fucking good for you. Now you're going for good. You think that I'm gonna miss you? Shy. What's good for toi is good for moi. Now the bathroom will be free. Anytime I need to pee, don't forget to leave your key. What's good for you is good for.
Are you gonna get that?
It's my agent. Hello? Are you serious? Oh my God. Oh my God! Yes! Yes! Looks like I'm moving to LA too. So, could I crash with you?
Yay! I haven't heard that in a while either. And it's so fun. Am I echoing still? You changed your settings?
No,
Great.
I'm good. I'm back.
Oh, you're back. No, oh my goodness. I reflect on that song and I think, well, okay, we date ourselves a little with like a Wii and a DVR, but you know, it's like, it's so funny, you know, just that was the first song we wrote together. I also reflect on the fact that like, you know, we write so many things I feel like that are so earnest now, or at least like not exclusively, of course, you know, but that one like has a lot of like snark and sass to it. And I kind of find that it's like funny that was like the first thing that we decided to come up with.
I think it's a little bit how we felt about each other.
I think so. We're just like, who are you? You know,
like Janine, I moved to BMI, or I moved to BMI. I moved to New York, actually Tuesday. The first morning I woke up in New York after 6 months was my 9-year anniversary here. And I just moved just past the application deadline for BMI when I first moved here. So I applied the next year. My friend Anna Jacobs had told me about it, and a lot of you probably know her. She's wonderful. So I applied and got it started, but I was like 25, 26, like, and if I don't have the reason I wear a beard is because I look like a high schooler otherwise. And so Janine was like, who is this child?
That is okay now. You know, and I felt old at 29, starting BMI. I was like, oh, these young, you know, kids in their early 20s. Now I realize, whatever, it's no difference.
But she was there being fierce with her like amazing rock star ombre and her like red jacket and like all the things. And it was just like, we were just like, okay, first assignment, fine, show up, bitch. And like we did for each other. And then
we were into BMI, just being our crazy selves. But I'm really glad that we found each other and then, you know, got to, you know, develop and create something really special together. And I never take that for granted.
Absolutely.
So anyway, this was such a fun chat about collaboration. You know, it's a topic we can and probably will in the future get, you know, even more into because we love to, you know, to talk about it. But right now we would just love to thank all the collaborative teams that were a part of this today. So we'd love to bring you all on for a little Brady Bunch style hello. Bring in everybody.
Everybody.
Hey. Oh, here we come. Here we come. Yay.
Yay.
One more, Maria. There we go.
Yay.
Yeah.
And if we're truth be told, love all of you as collaborators, but one more collaborator we have on making everything happen to today is our assistant, Hannah Jane.
We love Hannah Jane. Hey,
Hannah
girl.
Jane.
Yep, up there in the right-hand corner.
Thank you to her for like killing it as per usual.
Thanks, guys. Also, we'd love to thank everyone for. Oh, sorry, Hannah Jane.
No, I just said thank you.
No, we couldn't do it without you. Thanks for everything. And we just wanted to thank all the viewers who tuned in. If you like what you're seeing, make sure that you subscribe and follow so you can see, you know, the next third Thursday videos that we make. It's you know, something we plan on doing every month going forward. It's my excuse to put on makeup at least once a month in quarantine.
Yes.
So it's really the only time. It's the only time.
And you have officially 75 hours and 57 minutes to get your submissions in for the McGuireandSimon.com/side-by-side challenge. If you win, so we have three, just to remind you, we have 3 tiers. Well, really 2, but like second and third, whatever. So if you are the first or second runner-up, second or third place, you will get access to our exclusive catalog, which is songs that are either unpublished or are from musicals in development, so they're not available to everybody. And if you win our favorite cover of our song, we will write a specific song for you for a gig, for your book, for your life, either with or for you, maintaining all rights to the original material. So please enter, tell your friends. If you have voice students or people, it's just about heart and feeling. So it doesn't need to be a professional situation or professional quality. But remind your friends, and everybody around here can do one too.
Absolutely. And let's give just a virtual hand for everybody on the screen right now. Yay. Love you all. So glad you could be here.
Everybody take good care, wear your masks, wash your hands.
Yes. Remember to register to vote. Please do that. All the states have different rules. You know, find out what's going on in your state and make sure that you get your vote in. And we will see you next month.
You can still get a vote, so exercise it. Yeah. We love you all.
Thank you.
Bye.